girl boss, if that's the phrase you want to use. I'm a working woman, but we're certainly working a lot more too. Right. Have you seen any studies that show women's happiness while working? I know online there's this big trad wife sundress movement. What does the data tell us about that?
Well, we know historically that women have always worked. Mm-hmm. There's nothing. I mean, that's that's historically anomalous. The idea that women not working and staying home. There's this pining for the 50s or something. And everybody's got to do their own thing for sure. But if you go back thousands of years, women work. They're working on farms. What's historically anomalous is the idea that as soon as you get married, you wouldn't work. And again, more power to you if that's what you're going to do. But if we're just going to look at history, that's kind of the way it is. What we do find is that when work crowds out love relationships, you're going to be in trouble. We don't really have that much sympathy for men who do that because, we valorize that when men are workaholic. Workaholism is just any other sort of addiction that we have. But when you drink a bottle and a half of Jack, nobody says, congratulations, your prowess at drinking is unparalleled. I really admire you. But if you work 16 hours for your startup, people will say that's unbelievable. It's just wonderful. You'll get on the cover of Fortune magazine. But that's just straight up addiction, straight up addictive behavior. What you find is that now that's infecting women as much as it's infecting men. And what that is a relationship with work that crowds out other relationships that bring more happiness. Yeah. You need a relationship with the divine. You need a relationship with your family. You need a relationship, a real marriage, not a fake marriage, not a roommate marriage where you're just hey. It's not good enough. You're not going to be happy. And you don't need a nerd at Harvard with a PhD like me to tell you. Everybody knows that who's watching us. You need real friendships, and real friendships take time. And what we've found is that as the role of women in the workforce has increased to the point where we have workaholism rates among women that are as high as they are among men, that you're going to see precipitous declines in happiness. I don't think that this is especially gender-based. I just think that we have a problematic relationship with the way that we objectify ourselves.
All right, it's on you, Shan.
So much. You got it's like a cumulative topics. Let's see. The Stockdale paradox. The Stockdale paradox is the principle in Stoicism. Remember, I was telling you guys Stoicism is something that I want you guys to always at least just glance over and see, because it's a great philosophy to practice. And the Stockdale paradox is something that anybody that played any kind of sports or organized sports, you brothers that played organized sports, that's something that you experience, because in the Stockdale, to make it simple, it's the Stockdale paradox, as far as Stoicism is concerned, is when you're in a situation and you might not win, but you fight for the end game to prevail anyway, even though the brutal facts of that you might lose or die. It's almost like if I know that Marcus understands this. He may have gone out and had a ball against a team that was just supposed to dominate. They had all these supposed to just lose, but that didn't stop Marcus from going out there and giving it his all on the court, even though he knew he might not win that game. In the military, we do that. We fight to the end. So it's the Stockdale paradox is where there's a duality between I ain't gonna make it, man, but fuck it, we gonna crash out. And if a lot of people took that philosophy into their business, if they took that philosophy into their relationships, they'd get a lot of better outcomes than they normally do, as opposed to just saying fuck it, because sometimes you actually do win. This is David and Goliath. He shouldn't have won, but he prevailed. So Stockdale paradox is something that is really good. He also spoke on the 4 pillars of happiness. When I first read about the 4 pillars of happiness, I always had a kind of issue with that. I don't typically like to rewrite definitions of stuff, high value male or high value man, or the 4 pillars of happiness, or the 5 love languages, stuff like that, to my own personal definition. But I'm kind of with Darwin, because I always thought that the 4 pillars of happiness was missing one super important one, which was personal achievement. It's not an F, but human beings have a sense of self-aggrandizing themselves to whenever they achieve or do something great, that makes them happy and makes them feel good. You get a haircut, man. You go get that Assured, man. If you guys go and you purchase, you got that beard and you get that Assured, man, you put it in and you work yourself and that beard is looking good. That has really not little to do with faith, family, friends, and work. But you get that king on top and you put that stuff in and you looking good in the mirror. That brings happiness. Now, for whatever reason, maybe it's because you didn't have it before, or your beard didn't connect, or your shit was ashy, or whatever reason. But now that you got it all together, that's something that's good. Humans are resilient as well. We like to win against all odds. That's kind of like the Stockdale paradox. When you win an award, man, when you accomplish a goal, you achieve a goal, when you pass a test and get a new certification, like Trev is in real estate, when you get a certification, or maybe you guys are truck drivers and you get your CDLs, but when you get that hazardous material certification, when you achieve something, that's happiness too. And it seems like the 4 pillars of happiness doesn't account for that part. And I always kind of was like, how you don't? I get it. Friends, helping them and doing stuff with family, helping them and doing stuff, and my faith in God and work, and it's cool. But what about me? So I always kind of had that situation. I always kind of had that issue with the 4 pillars of happiness. I don't want to redefine it, but I think it's missing a really important one. People tend to really like themselves especially when they accomplish and achieve things.
Shaq, can I ask you a question about that?
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, I love what you said. The the personal gratification or achievement one. Do you think that either they could have tied it into work, like they may have like paired that as your job is also your sense of personal accomplishment, or do you think that maybe they viewed it as an external source that you may not have had ultimate control over?
You don't want an umbrella.
Well, I don't think so, because I don't really see, because work is, because your career and men work. We need something to do. We feel good to work, but when you play sports, that ain't got, when you go skydiving, and if you have a bucket list of things that you want to do, if you go bungee jumping but you're scared of heights but you still make it happen, that has nothing to do with work. But it's also a personal accomplishment that you've been able to do, because you've been able to do when you first dunked. Your first dunk, when you first did your spin around dunk, that had little to do with work as so much as it's a personal accomplishment. So to put it up under there and say work is an umbrella for all those kind of things, I don't even see it. I just think
Marcus ain't doing no spin around dunks, man.
Man, you better. Hey,
ain't doing no spin around dunks.
Well, I had a 40-inch vert.
I ain't got no 40-inch vertical. What you talking about,
how happy
man?
Marcus is. Look how happy right now Marcus is.
Oh man! Hey!
Did you see? Man, did you see the joy? Did you see the joy in him talking about his 40-inch vertical? I don't see that in family, friends, faith, and work. I see that as a 5th pillar of happiness. So that's just me.
I ain't gonna lie to you. I was happy as hell when I was able to grab rim.
Yeah, when I got to the 4th grade and I could grab rim, I was like, yeah, I'm doing it.
Yeah, it should be 5 pillars of happiness. Now, in terms of women's happiness, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say I'm with you on that, because the reward and honor, I think speaks to something similar to what you're saying. Because I've had occasions where I went to the gym and we win like 6 or 7 games straight, but then it's one team that usually comes in and beat the shit out of everybody, played us. We beat
y'all
them.
Got the dog shit beat out of y'all too. Stop lying.
No, we won it. We won against them, and it felt so much. It just felt so good beating them, and all the other games didn't really mean shit. So it felt like it was an accomplishment. If I had lost 7 games straight, but I would have just beat that one team that day, I would have been, fulfilled. You get what I'm saying? So I think it was a sense of reward and gratification, or whatever you want to call it.
Oh, they
accomplishment or something.
Shan, to your point, I used to play Call of Duty before the kids, right? And back then they could hack the game where they would just shoot into the spawn. So as soon as you spawned, you would die, and they get like 1,000 kids. They some crazy number, right? It was no way you could beat them. And the people that be talking to me in the game, like, bruh, you know this is hack, right? It's no, why don't you just quit? I'm like, never. So I'm just dying for 30 minutes straight, just trying and trying and trying. But
that is the Stockdale. I mean, the Stockade. I'm sorry, the Stockdale paradox. That's what that is.
That's just foolish.
Everybody can tell you that you're gonna lose. You don't even see a pathway to winning, but you don't give it up.
I don't care. I was trying to figure something out because I normally be number one when I was playing, but those
figure it out.
They spawn camp, and then there wasn't even nobody there. They just was firing bullets into where you were spawning at. So as soon as the game came on, you died. I ain't care though. I still was fighting.
You was killing your KDR. You said KDR was suffering at the same. I said he was killing your KDR.
Yeah, I don't care about that shit. I'm trying to win. Fuck that. Okay. But ironically, I low-key feel the best when the chip stacked against me. Like, if I feel like I'm gonna win, I really don't like enjoy it. I really want to feel like, oh yeah, it's no way I can win and then win.